Hey, you're live, guys.
Hi,
Hi.
how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm excellent.
Are you
And-
playing the thing? Okay.
It's over.
Oh, hi, Susan. Welcome to Mention It Monday.
Hi,
So I came,
Charity.
I came back here because I saw you working on some really cool stuff, and I just kind of wanted to let everybody else kind of check it out and see what's
Okay.
going on.
Well, I just, actually not just, I purchased the Scan and Cut piercing tool some time ago, and I really haven't used it a lot. I've used
Yeah.
it some, but I really haven't used it a lot. And so I just started just sit here and see what I can get it to do. And it did some really nice stuff. And I don't know if the camera can pick this up. Can you? I'd have to
Camera
bring it-
operator, can you zoom in? It's manual. It's a manual zoom.
There we go.
Yes, I
So-
can. It's as far close as I can get.
That's
Okay,
good.
well, I can bring it up.
Yeah, picking up a little bit.
Let's see. Can you see that there's piercing in it?
It's hard, but I tell you what we'll do later today. We'll take some nice stills and we'll post them on the Facebook page so you ladies can see a close up of what we're doing today.
Oh, sweet.
There you go.
Also, I had been asked to do a holiday card,
Uh-huh.
and so I started with the envelope, and then I put together some pieces and did a foil card.
Ooh,
And I-
that is so pretty.
I know. I want to steal it. I won't lie. Here. Oh, there we go. A good shot. Let it focus. All right. Isn't that beautiful?
And that was a lot of fun. And as much as I really love doing this, it can be a little time consuming because when you're putting glue down and waiting for glue to dry, and that's when I learned that in the scan cut machine itself, it has you have the ability to change all those settings, which I thought was absolutely wonderful. I wish I'd known that beforehand, but I didn't.
Well, now you'll be more prepared.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I've just done was I was experimenting with different materials, and I had some some metallic paper,
Uh-huh.
and it looks pretty, but you really have to. I want to even try to show that one. It's really hard to see. You can see the back a lot better.
Yeah.
Can you make that out?
Yeah, you can see where it's perforated.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
so
little bit.
cool.
So that, and with this, the nice thing is you can just like write thank you on it or whatever, and you can do. Of course, you can do that on your scan and cut with your pen tool, and you have all these great little pens that come with your scan and cut that you just put in the holder and write on whatever you want. And another nice thing about this is with the scan and cut programs, this Canvas Workspace, the Canvas Workspace application that you put on your computer will use any font that you have on your computer as a font to be used to make lettering.
Yeah, very cool.
So, which is nice because these fonts this font right here I got from Da Font, and you can make a donation to the producer of the font, or you can get it for free. It's entirely up to you how you want to deal with it. So, and I thought that was for the look I wanted. I was going for a rustic look.
Yeah.
That was the perfect thing to do to use. So what I'm doing now is I had just did another paper piercing, but I had removed a gold card and put a different piece of paper on. And I didn't cut the paper first because I had a different mat in the machine. So now I'm going to cut the paper, but first I have to scan it to find out where it is.
Yes. I love
So-
that about the scanning
That
cut because you can scan what is on your mat.
exactly. So this is kind of cool.
So, can you tell us a little bit about your scan cut fundamentals?
Oh, sure. The fundamentals we go over what the machine is, how it's used, the functions of the machine and how to use the functions in the machine. There's also um, a really, really great workbook for this machine,
Uh-huh.
and it is called the Scan and Cut DX Playbook,
Yes.
which is another thing we're gonna have to just take a picture of later. And this, I've been using these machines for a long time, and this book has taught me things that I had no clue.
Yeah.
Didn't have any idea. I thought, oh wow, look at that, that's cool. And so it's just been really interesting. So in fundamentals, we'll take you through all of the functions of the machine, how to use those functions. We'll take you through the program or the software, the the application that you have on your desktop or your laptop or whatever, so you can get access at any time, or the cloud program. And they're both pretty strong programs, but they work in slightly different ways.
Yeah.
You can do layering in the PC program. You can't do layering in um, the cloud-based program.
Yeah.
And what people might say is, well, what is layering? Whenever you have an SVG file, it's made in layers,
Mm-hmm.
so that you have one layer on top of another layer on top of another layer.
Oh, well, Mr. Producer just wanted to say that layering is so important for doing vinyl shirts.
Absolutely.
And we-
Layering, no, not just vinyl shirts.
I know.
It's also important when you're doing applique work. It's very important when you're doing drawing.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to change all your colors, if you don't have layers, you can't change the colors. The machine's just going to continue on and on until it's finished with the project. And you're going to look at it and say, I didn't want this to be all green.
Yeah.
So,
That's good to know because I get that question a lot when you're coloring. How to, like, because they think about the embroidery machine where it stops so they can change the thread. But in a sense, that's almost in a layer too because
exactly. Those are all layers.
yeah.
The only drawback that I see so far in that program, though, is that you have to produce a file for each layer, which you would have to do anyway, but they haven't yet figured out how to put them all together in one grouping so that you can just pull up one file and have all your pieces there.
Yeah. Well, maybe soon they will.
I'm hoping so.
So I know we let this machine cut the paper.
Okay, let's just go, and I want to edit this because it's not dark enough. I can't see what I'm doing.
Okay.
So I'm say okay. Now it's too dark. That's rather interesting. Let's see what we can do here. If you can't see it, you can pretty much eyeball it. So I know I want to put this square, which I want to be 5 by 7, so I'll change that. And edit object, and I'm going to change the size. I'm just going to turn it up to 5 by 7.
So Susan is adjusting her size right on the screen, which is really cool. So what you can do on your canvas, you can also do on your machine. Just getting it just right.
Mm-hmm.
So this will be like a card size.
Right. Correct. Bring it to 5 by 7. And then
Well,
to move it
Charity,
down.
while we're working on it, you have a question
Alrighty.
for embroidery, but since you guys kind of, the biggest question on Facebook is, what do you use to keep t-shirts from puckering when embroidering?
The best thing that I like to use for embroidering on t-shirts is a no-show cutaway, or some companies call it a poly mesh. It's a lighter weight cutaway, but it's movable with the t-shirt. And I also sometimes like to use the fusible versus the spraying it on, because that way I know there's no shifting And then if you're not interested in hooping the t-shirt, I still like the fusible poly mesh so that I can have that on the shirt, and then I just tack it to the tearaway if you like the tearaway in the hoop. But why it's recommended to use a cutaway on a t-shirt, because the more times you wash it, it will shrink up in the wash, and so that poly mesh is lightweight and stays with the t-shirt, so that way you'll have a nice fresh look for your embroidery. Are we ready to?
Yeah, we're ready to roll.
All right, let's get to rocking.
Okay. Okay.
Do you do a test cut? of it?
You bet. I do a test cut on everything.
All right.
Okay, go. Oops.
Now we're getting ready to cut our test cut. Plus, do you find that test cut helps the auto blade find the right pressure?
Yes, it does.
Yes.
But I need to stop it. My paper slipped.
Oh,
And we have another question.
yes.
Since y'all were talking about t-shirts, do you have to stabilize the t-shirt with a scan and cut when you put the vinyl on the t-shirt? Do you have to stabilize the t-shirt?
No,
Oh,
No.
no, it's just not necessary.
okay. But you do need a heat press.
Yeah, a heat press is handy. If you don't have a heat press, however, because not everybody wants to spend a whole bunch of money for a heat press, my suggestion would be to use an iron, turn the steam off, and depending on what you're cutting, or sorry, pressing, you need to set your iron on cotton or linen. If you're doing something like a foil or an adhesive, you'd want to set it more, a little bit higher than wool. When you're doing it that way, it's kind of a hit and miss. You have to do a little bit of experimentation, but once you figure out how it works, what temperature you need to use for specific vinyl or foil for that matter, just write it down someplace and you're good to go.
Fair enough.
So let's go for this again. See if the paper stays in place.
Yes.
I'm using really old mats, so
And we all try to go as long as we can on that.
yes, we do.
Do you ever use that liquid adhesive to make them really sticky?
Yeah, I've used it, but there's nothing like a new mat. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, it does help. Why is it not recognizing the mat? This is really strange.
It's because you called it old.
There you go.
Even mats don't like to be called old. Oh,
Well, evidently, you were absolutely correct. Okay, let's start this. Begin the beginning here.
Any other questions there, Robin?
just a comment.
So how did I cut?
That's great.
So the thing is do not call your mats old. they're
Yeah.
for snifty.
There we go.
It's so fast when it cuts.
Yep.
I was like, how did I cut anything before?
Really. And here we are.
So clean. Now, are you using the standard or the low tack mat for this?
This is as I said, this is a standard mat, but it's very old.
Okay.
Normally, for a lot of my paper cutting, I use a low tack mat.
Okay.
And you want to use a low tack mat when you're cutting paper. You want to use a low tack mat when you're doing embossing.
Mhm.
I did some embossing and didn't realize, and it was this mat. As a matter of fact, It was this mat, and when the burnishing came through, it-
Zoom in there so we can see.
you can see the backside better.
Kind of can make it out. Oh, I can see. Oh, the flowers are so pretty. We're gonna have to post some pictures
Yeah,
on Facebook.
very nice.
I was doing some embossing when the burnishing tool burnishes down the foil,
Uh-huh.
it really presses very, very hard. And you can see that the area on the mat that's darkened right here. Let me just bring this up here. That is darkened down and through here. That's the dye that was in the paper because I had to soak it off.
Yes.
But that's one thing you can do, which is kind of nice about these mats. But I don't know about the Surcut or the silhouette mats. Is you can take this mat, put it in a shallow sink of water,
Uh-huh.
and if something's stuck down there, I mean really stuck down there, just soak it off. It'll
And it-
come right off, and
and
it
it-
doesn't take more than 10 minutes.
Does it keep it sticky?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah. Yep. Very nice. Very
did.
cool. I didn't know that tip.
Oh,
things you learn, huh?
Yes, because I've used several craft vinyl that leaves
Yes.
a
Leaves the
yeah.
paper backing on.
Mm-hmm.
That's well. Again, if you have a brand new, never been used, low tack mat,
Yeah. I
or is
learned,
it medium tack, whatever it is.
I learned that the hard way. Craft vinyl goes on a low tack mat,
Yeah.
not a standard mat,
Yeah.
because it sticks really
Yeah.
well. Well, I think that we learned a few tips about the ScanNCut and the piercing, and it was so much fun. And I want to thank you for joining us here at Mention It Monday.
Okie dokie.
Did you have anything else you want to add before we go?
Yeah. ScanNCut classes are on Mondays, and on we do well, actually, we do fundamentals, which tells you, all the ins and outs of your machines and the programs. And then the rest of the month on Monday afternoons, we do crafts.
Very cool. Now, so one of the first Mondays you have a older machine versus new machine.
Yeah, we have the newer machines in the morning, the older machines in the afternoon. It's really, it makes life so much easier. Because when you have two different machines using they're not using different formats, but the mechanics of the machines are different enough that you cannot teach them together.
Yeah. All right. Well, be sure to check that out and also check out our Stash Builders auction tonight. And we will see you next week again on Mention It Monday. If I need to grab it,
Okay.
I can
Yes.
pull it.
okay.
I should have just left my
Well-
tripod up there.
We might oh, hi everybody. Say bye.
Bye. You said we were not live.